Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great, relaxing weekend and you're rolling right into your week without a hitch. My name's Grindhead Jim, and welcome to Toy Grinds Live. Lots of reveals, lots of news to go over. And I will briefly talk about the YouTube algorithm conundrum that's been happening lately. So, for now, I want to catch up with the chat. I see Bjorn Jorgensen, Jesse Hughes, Bill Wifta found himself a Superman, which is great. Also sent off some pictures that are pretty interesting. We'll talk about in a bit. Gotatron got a Supermobile himself, which is great. We also see Toy Connections is going to be late, but that's okay. Anonymous Dude 123, you're welcome. And yes, that Operation Recall stream with Ken was great. Keith Knight and Jason Garcia and Boba Hicks and Johnny Sorensen, Monkey Boys Toys, and Keith, of course, saying, "Hello, Jimbo, Mio Mucka." And it's not how he sounds at all. But that's okay. That's okay. Kieran Ball is here, shouting out, folks. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right. So it's been a relaxing weekend for me for the most part. Really took the time to downshift. I have been burning the candle at both ends for a couple months now. So I went out of my way. Woke up Friday, wasn't feeling great, and decided to take the rest of the day off from work after I got some work done. And then I made it a point not to really do much of anything outside of a couple Patreon obligations over the weekend. And today was very much the same. I needed to just chill, just relax, and I've accomplished that. I feel good. I feel really good. So if any of you out there are like, "Oh, he looks tired," no, well, I did nap this afternoon. I took an hour-long nap this afternoon. I'm feeling good, feeling great. But there's a lot of reveals and news and stuff to talk about. So we're just gonna hop right in, starting with a in-hand reveal close-up of the Masterverse Hordak and She-Ra. These are, for me, really cool. They're kind of must-haves if you're into the scale. And, for me personally, it's something that, um, they're definitely on my list. That's for certain. And so we're going to show them off. So we've got Hordak and She-Ra. Great sculpts, great paint apps. The packaging is really cool. Has the old Princess of Power logo on it, which I really like. She's got an alternate face mask, which is pretty badass. And he's got his gun from the cartoon. He's got the blue deco from the cartoon. So right away, it's a very desirable version of the character for sure. And they put him inside of Origins Roton just to see, and it's interesting. Still don't have a Roton yet, but I'm working on it. Next to He-Man, he's got a bit of a smile on his face, like, it's my sister, he's great. And you got the back of the packaging here, and another comparison shot. Then the Skeletor talking shop with Hordak, apparently, which is pretty cool. So these are figures that I'm really looking forward to because, again, I'm not collecting a bunch of Masterverse stuff, but I want a classic He-Man, classic Skeletor, a Hordak, and a She-Ra, and more or less call it good. At one point, I was like, I should just start collecting them, but no, we're not. We're not going nuts. These are meant to be display pieces that are just going to be cool and go from there. Jesse Hughes asking, is She-Ra going to be a general release? Yes, both of these figures are going to be retail general releases, and you can pre-order them at Big Bed right now. So they are general releases. Very easy to get a hold of. Also saying that Aftermath can be a amazing or a day killer. It was just one of these things where it's at the middle of the day. I didn't have anything I had to be doing. All the show prep was already done. And I wanted a blanket on me. So I was like, what the hell with I want to get in the bed. It's nice when you can do that. Johnny Swords and I agree that She-Ra is a must buy. Love the Toon Deco. Absolutely. It's a great update to the figure for sure. And Gojatron says getting both of those. And Monkey Boys Toys says this Hordak looks sweet. I agree. Really, really cool stuff. And it just shows Mattel's continued commitment to the line, honestly. And I start with that because we're going into the next little Motu piece of news that we have, which isn't much, which is odd coming off of PowerCon because Mattel did not go. I think they kind of blew their wad at SDCC, and that's totally okay because they had a lot of good things to say. So, but the brand was certainly not missing at PowerCon. Whereas feet flippers, like in the show, it looks like he had clawed feet from what I saw. Chasing these toys. What's up? Hey, Chris. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. So, what Motu we did get at PowerCon comes from NECA and their life-sized vinyl masks of the original vintage designs for several characters. And both this and the previous news are courtesy of our friends over at Toy Newsy. So we've got Stinkor and Trapjaw, Webstore, Merman, Beastman, Hordak, and Skeletor. These are great looking masks. They're like nice old school masks that you see, and I think it's really interesting to see these things here. And this being, the whole NECA booth, I can go through a couple other things that they have here. They're doing these Dungeons and Dragons figures, which is interesting. They look like you can actually pose them, which I find interesting. They've co-opted the LJN logo down here, which is kind of funny to me. But there's some cool stuff that they're doing that falls outside of that normal kind of, the reputation that NECA is sort of associated with. A completely different style of products. So I'm interested. I'm interested to see where it goes. But at the same time, do we need Halloween masks of these characters? I don't know. Like would almost be worth buying one of those styrofoam mannequin heads to get a Skeletor mask and pop it on there, but it depends on how much they're selling for. If they're selling for the price that normal masks would be no big deal, but these are going for like $50 a pop. So it's like, really? I know, Bill, I know. I'll give him credit where credit's due. This is a cool idea. And Bjorn saying on everyone's mind in this case, hope the masks are more durable than the figures. Exactly. Totally different material, totally different kind of manufacturing. So, that said, going again in a direction that a toy company, I don't see them doing this kind of thing too often, but I love this. This is a Mezco 5 points of articulation, 3 3/4 inch scale Chucky. He's like 20 30 bucks. It's not an expensive figure at all, but it has all the detail that that Mezco tends to have. It's got 4 different heads representing different parts of the series, and he's got interchangeable torso, and he's got 3 pairs of arms plus an additional one that has like the little sickle thing on it. He's got a like a board. I think that's an axe, or the board, and then an axe, a gun, a couple knives, and it's just cool that they're doing this and doing it at such a nice price. So if you're into this character, into these films, or just want a 5 POA horror icon for a good price, I mean, this is right up your alley. Um, Jace Garcia says they have a TIFF. Definitely have to get for a friend. Absolutely, that would be cool. That would be cool. Ben Stutley's here. Welcome, sir. Will McLaughlin's here. Cool, cool. And Monkey Boys Toys are commenting on the masks that they're accurate to the figures. You bet. And that's one of the things that got kind of interested me. No one with a good point. So other than the extra set of legs, you almost get 2 figures. That's right. And again, at such a low price for Mezco, like that's like you're going to get a quality figure from that company. And I just was like, wow, really? And they have that 5 points of articulation line. I didn't know they were doing this. So this is apparently like their thing to update that character, which I love. Jim Largo's here. Hey, sir. Good to see you. Keith Dunn says, my wife has a load of NECA horror figures still in box. Advise her taking them out of the box like defusing a time bomb. Yes, absolutely. I have two myself. I have 2 NECAs. And I kind of want 2 more, and then that's it. So I have a Freddy Krueger, and I have a Jason Voorhees, and I want a Pinhead, and I want a Michael Myers. They're not horribly expensive, and they are, for me, they're meant to be displayed. I'm not trying to play with them, whatever. I'm willing to take the risk because those characters mean a lot to me. They're going to be display pieces in the living room. But I also have those 4 characters in the Savage World style. So it's something where I've got representation of those characters, but rather than turning my back on the ones that I have, I decided that it was worth, completing the set. So we're going to try that and see how it goes. Jason Garcia says, I have the Godzilla 5 POA set from Mezco. The sculpts are great, but the paint can be iffy. Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. And Ted Mo says, hello. Hello, right back to you, sir. Hello, right back. Next up on the list and on brand for this channel, absolutely, is that rumors confirmed John Stewart, Superpowers Green Lantern, is available. Not only do we see him in end caps in different places, in fact, our man on the street, Bjorn, got me one today. Thank you, by the way. And he's just finding stuff, which is great. But you can buy him on the website. So it's game on, folks. It's game on. If you're looking to keep stuff in package, I don't recommend doing online because Walmart's packing for shipping is just pretty awful most of the time. But if you're not keeping stuff on, in the box, you can get the stuff now. So, very exciting times. Glad to see that more and more people are finding stuff. In fact, Bill Wifta found himself some more today. He got a Superman, and Gojatron got a Supermobile. So, we were really worried that we weren't going to be able to get this stuff, and it appears that the availability is only getting better. So, not mad about it. Not mad about it at all. I think they're doing a good thing. So I'm quite happy. Doo, 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 doo. So going back to some old friends here, we've got Nacelle is bringing back the Sectars, which is kind of great. Now they only have the figures, but the figures look quite good. And later on, There's some pictures from the floor of PowerCon where you can actually see prototypes in person. Got Dargon and Stellaria or Stellara, sorry. But it's pretty interesting that they're going in this direction. I hope that they're going to have the whole experience, like with the big flying monsters and everything. I think that would be cool. I think it would be a huge miss if they don't go in that direction. I don't know how far they're going with the line, but bringing the characters back, I think is really, really, really cool. It's really cool. Let's see here. Catch up with you guys. Ding, 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 ding. All right. So Daniel Carhoonan, nice to see you. I love that duck picture, man. I really do. Um, just uses my Walmart's toy aisle is completely cleared out and will be redone. They're prepping for holiday season. Bet we'll see a ton of new stuff, and that is evidenced by what Bill sent me a little bit earlier today, which is a. I'll just share the screen; it'll be easier for me. Screen, here, share. So this is like an actual layout of what they're putting in. There's a bunch of different things here. It's hard to see because it's dark, but this is superpower stuff, Batwing and so forth. So they're definitely moving in that direction, and it looks like it is part of a seasonal reset. So for those of you that haven't found them yet, it would appear to me that that is what they're waiting for. It confirms what Bill was told a few weeks back, and that's the direction that they're going in, which works for me. Masters Maniac Rolo is here. Almost slept this over, but thank God Hero Alarm's still working, and it reminded me of Showtime. Well, awesome. Glad to see you. Hope you're feeling well. Um, but always good to hear from you, brother. Always good to hear from you. Kieran Ball asks, is a Superpowers Batwing easy to find? Up to this point, generally speaking, this is what you see the most. Supermobile has appeared to be the harder vehicle to find, but with it rolling out very soon, should be relatively simple, and you can get it online. So depending upon what condition you're going for, if you want loose, maybe roll the dice and get it shipped. But it's certainly something that it's going to be up there for sure. Let's see here. Giraffe says, I wonder if Martian Manhunter will look more like Justice League Unlimited and if Hawk Girl is on her way to line as well. They're being very tight-lipped with everything, and we don't know. We don't know yet. I hope so too. I hope that they do a bunch because at the price point they're looking good, and I know it's not a popular thing in most of my circles, but I'm keeping all the figures on card. The vehicles are going to get played with, but the figures and the boxes will be displayed on their own as kind of an homage to my parents, because that's the first time I ever saw superpowers in person was that way. So it's very special to me, and I can't wait to display them like that. And you guys know it's a rarity that that I would ever do that. I like my toys being out. I like playing with my toys. Um, but for real. Yes, Rolo, we can have a call after. Absolutely. You bet. We'll get caught up on everything for sure. Go also says a good time to check the Walmart clearance aisle for older toys with the resets happening. 100% agreed. Very good tip. As you said, biggest reveal of PowerCon was the like button for this page. It's not exclusive, so everyone can click it. Oh, you clever boy. And Bill Wifton says everything on the action figure aisle was on clearance in Helena, Arkansas. There you go. Making the big long trips for everything. So next up for some things that we saw at PowerCon is this Migo Medusa figure, which I think is really cool. Obviously, soft goods for everything, and it's just cool. Like I happened upon it when I was looking through some things, and um, it's the whole thing. It's the whole thing. I think it's a great move. Migo's making some great stuff, and it's something that I continue to look more and more into. Great stuff. Jim Largo brings up a good point here. His box art is nice, but boxes take up a lot of shelf space. I agree. But for superpowers, I will find or make room. Yeah, Medusa looking pretty good, right? It's pretty cool stuff. I'm looking at her, I'm not even turning to stone, man, but she does rock. It's funny when I say it, right? It's good stuff for sure. Um, we don't need that. That's another shot of the masks. So there's some other stuff from the cell. They're redoing the Power Lords line, which again, this is a bit of a weird flex. Um, the Power Lords weren't all that popular from what I remember. I had one. I had this one right here. I don't even remember his name. But these are the prototypes that they have for the line. It's cool sculpts, but I don't know. I really don't know where they're going with it and what the lore is, what tie-ins they've got. And it's interesting, but I don't know. I don't know where they're going with it. I think it's cool, but I wonder who this is for, because you hear people say, "Oh, Power Lords," like they'll bring it up. I don't know anyone that had a large collection of these. To my knowledge, I've never met anyone that had a bunch of these. Usually had one or two. Um, so and being that the toy line wasn't that popular to begin with, there's not a lot of you'll have brand recognition, but when you're updating the sculpts and everything, I don't know who this is for. You know what I mean? Kieran Ball bringing up that the Medusa looks more as a Hammer horror film version of the Gorgon. There you go. Ben Sully says, later if you get a chance, I'd like to give Monkey Boy's Toy Channel a shout out or a link to Great Channel Reserves a share. Well, they've been on the screen a couple times, and I'm glad to know that they have the Ben Stutley seal of quality. Good stuff. Good stuff. And Nyla, no worries on that. Glad that you're here. Um, and just like, what's a Power Lord? Never heard of it. There you go. They're a little bit before your time. Very short-lived toy line, and the orange dude that you saw, the blue and the orange. Let me pull him back up here for you. Here we go. So this guy's torso flips, so he's got a normal human front, and then he flips and has like this is supposed to be like his super powered mode, right? Like his power lord thing he has going on. And I I don't know. It was not a hit. They were interesting. It was a cool concept, but it didn't really take off for me. So I'm not sure what they're doing. Um, but that's okay. And speaking of things that came out of nowhere, were these dragons of Dragonor that I saw. Very, very cool little dragon figures, and based upon what I'm seeing in terms of their size, I might have to get these just to play with my Motu figures to mix with that. And then I've got that red dragon, motorized red dragon, very similar color scheme. He could be like the king, and these could be the little minions and stuff. It's very cool. It's from a company called FOMO Toys, and these are they're so pretty. I like them quite a bit. Very cool. Johnny Sorensen says I'd hang superpowers cards on a wall. Can use temp sticky thing that's not allowed to put holes in the wall. Only thing with that is I'd be worried about damaging the package. I'm not sure how I'm going to display them, but it's a good idea. Wall's a good idea. Okay, so they're basing it on that, but they couldn't get the license, so it's a generic Medusa. Makes sense. Makes sense. Gotcha. Jim Largo's going to skip the Power Lords, but bring him some new Micronauts. There you go. You heard it from the marketplace, folks. Chris Mila never had Power Lords in the 80s or even knew what it was back then. Yeah, I had one. And he was interesting, didn't scale with anything. And Jesse Hughes says he's a Power Lord and has so many cables. I believe it. And like me, Ted had the orange dude. Yep. I don't even know his name. I don't even know his name. Keith says Medusa goes all the way back to Greek mythology. No matter what version, she's always having a mad hair day. With the snakes, I agree. I agree. Chris is correct. Dragons are cool. Fact. Hard agree, sir. Hard agree. Motu compatible dragon stuff. That's right. Yeah, these definitely would go well with Origins, Mark. Um, tons of cool stuff out there. Um, do they switch from bipedal to quad arm switch? I don't know. Um, let's look at the other one. It looks like it's the same figure, so it feels like if you swapped out the arms, you could do that. I don't know if that's intentional, but it sure looks like it with the way the sculpt works out. You can see there's a seam for a longer neck and so forth. So um, it certainly looks that way. Um, but this is all I know about them. But they're pretty cool and definitely interested. What line's the dragon from? That is. Let me get a better picture of it. Let me get the. Let me find. See if I can just get a link to the actual website so we can get actual information here. Hang on. Bump, 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 bump. Here we go. This gives you a better idea of what else they have in the line. So, this is the Legends of Dragonor. Now, these are meant to scale and mix with Motu in general. So, like by design, these are all, they have different characters already, but the articulation is crap. I'm going to be straight with you. It's just old school, Motu style articulation. And when you see the price on some of these figures, it's like, really? So, if you get this whole wave, and I have them to show them a little bit later. You get the whole wave, and then you can build this guy here, which is okay, I guess. And they're charging $200 for the complete set. You can get a complete set for 180, or you can get 200 and you get some extra stuff, which is whatever. And the pre-orders are open already. They'll close on the 21st, and there's no limits to how many you can do. But if you do the math, right? So if you go with the lowest price and you're getting a wave, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 figures, right? So it doesn't include shipping, which is fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, yeah. Around $26 a figure before shipping, which isn't awful, but when you're trying to compete with Motu, that I don't like that myself. The dragons, though, I would pay that price for. I'd pay $26 for, even up to 30 for the dragon, because it looks like the dragon has a lot of swappable parts and more naturally fits in. Whereas these are kind of, I don't know, like the little brother saying, "Me too, I want in, I want to play." Or as Rob would say, "I want to be part of something." Um, Interesting stuff for sure, but again, not the price point is getting me a little bit. Thinks the name is Psydot. I mean, that sounds familiar. Sounds familiar. Yeah, Mark's like, I don't know, $200. I agree. If you hold Merman up to your ear, do you hear the ocean? No, you hear a gargling person. Wow. Touch the dragon button, you hear Kevin Smith's one. I don't know what that means. Dragon Line has a lot of attention in Germany as they're all about the lore. Yeah, and that's the thing. It it feels good. Like, I love that they're doing these other figures, but when you're charging more for less articulation, that's kind of a problem. Um, so it bothers me. But speaking of things with heavy lore, let's take a look at some Savage Crucible stuff. They had a bunch of prototypes on hand. They look great, and they did announce that they're looking to do the Kickstarter in. So they're hoping it in October is what they're looking at, and that things will go out in the beginning of the year. So it looks like it's similar timeline, just starting later than we originally were hoping for. So I'm grateful that they're waiting because it gives us all time to recover from Action Force, But these figures look great. To see them photographed like that really gives me a lot of hope for this line, and knowing that they are certainly moving forward, it's quite good to me. And Rolo saying I'm going to pass on the dragon lore stuff. I just want the dragons myself. Um, Giraffe says, I wish Mattel would release a big bucket of parts for Origins, just a bunch of limbs, heads, armors, and weapons, maybe a Snake Man bucket of parts. That'd be cool, but I don't think that would ever happen. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. But I don't think they're smart enough to do that, frankly. Um, come back to that. So I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up. The Action Force Special Deployment Series is up for pre-order. You've got two totally new characters in the Sentry, and I forget this guy's name. But you also get an armor set that is a variation of the Steel Brigade trooper. So you can basically turn any basic trooper into a Steel Brigade trooper with heavy weapons and stuff, which are great. And then they've reissued with all the new plastic and all the upgrades. You've got a Steel Brigade, a Swarm Trooper, as well as the gear set. So lots of cool stuff. There's no end date at this point on the pre-orders, and as far as I know, they're only going through Valaverse at this time. So I think he's trying to encourage folks without being in a mad rush to order from him. The upside being you're prepaying, so you don't have to worry about it, and then they'll ship out early, before you know it. So very cool stuff. Blowback. Yeah, I think that is it. Yeah. Monkey Boys Toys asked, are they smart enough to give us a Snake Mountain this year? They're not, because they're trying to get us to buy that crowd-funded Eternia. I think we'll see a Snake Mountain next year. Or we'll see a... I don't think they're smart enough to do a Fright Zone, because that would be something that's smaller and a better price point. I don't think they're smart enough to do that either. I hope they are, but, And also, we don't know what the price is on Eternia, so I might change my tune with that. So now we're going to look at some featured pre-order stuff. Some things that I saw, it was like, oh, cool. Bum, 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 bum. So here we go. This is a Mondo Godzilla, the small scale statue, $125 for 8-inch. Now, when you consider it's pretty darn accurate. Comes with a display stand there. He's got a plane in his hand, and he's not actually black and white. They're just photographing it that way to kind of show off what it is. But he's got some subtle color to him. He looks very cool. But for 8 inches at $125, I'm like, not for me, but I kind of like it. I didn't even see this. I didn't know this existed, but it's a Samafex Joker from the Dark Knight film, and he's on sale for $80. So if you like this version of the Joker, you'd be hard pressed to find a better representation of this character. I just wanted to bring this up, so if you guys were interested, you might want to check it out. So. Jesse Hughes throwing shades. Only weird people buy a Steel Brigade, especially 6. And Jim Marco's like, well, yeah, totally weird. 6 squads of 6 Steel Brigade in both colors. Yeah. Yeah, I saw the couple deaths, and I do not want to make a segment about that. There are other shows that do it better than me. Curiouser and curiouser, we have this Jurassic World Mega on the Go Dinosaur Danger Set. It's just like it's an old school play set for kids. And, it's not something that would really scale with anything else, but it's just cool for 22 bucks. Um, I think it's cute. It's got a bunch of pegs to put stuff around and comes with all these different little pieces and little diorama things. And it's just cool. So it's like one stop shop for the dinosaur lover in your life. You get a bunch of dinosaurs in a paddock. It's just cool. It's just cool. I really dug that. I really dug that. Ding, 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 ding. So he said, I was not a dig on anyone. I now own several steel receivers. That's true. He does. I'm just being a jerk. Stirring up stuff. Masters Maniac says, looks very good, but Mofex a little fragile sometimes, comes with joint problems. I have not had those problems with the two Mofex figures I have, but it's a good thing to call out for sure. Keith says that the Jurassic World diorama looks just like your local pub on a Friday night. Lots of dinosaurs hanging out at your pub. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that what I'm hearing? 'Cause that's what it sounds like. Um, Now, again, getting into the ultra expensive, but just cool things. And to me, if it's something you want to commemorate, just a couple figures, getting a pair of 8-inch with soft goods figures of Batman and Robin, the pair for 150, you're getting closer to what I think is reasonable for this quality of figure. Um, Looks like they got tons of articulation and look really cool. They're dead on. They got light up eyes. Um, it's just really interesting to me that these exist. They've got interchangeable head sculpts with light up and interchangeable hairstyles and wounded and not wounded shitload of hands and everything else. Again, not something I'm going to get, but I saw it and I was like, that was just cool. It's just cool. Um, and it's something that, again, I like looking in the nooks and crannies of Big Bad for things that you don't typically see. Um, for the simple fact that if you're not looking for it, you'd never know it existed. So I like to call attention to people for stuff like that. Speaking of which, there's lots of folks that have looked at certain Fortnite figures to fill out, kind of squad things and so forth. There are certainly some other figures coming that fit similar bills. So Apex Legends, which is also a free-to-play video game, but is more military-based and more adult in nature. They've got a few figures from the line that are coming out, and you can get the whole series for 73 bucks for 3 figures, which, averages out to about 28-ish dollars. No, not even that. Like 26 bucks or something like that per figure. They got good sculpts. It's by Jack Specific, and it says 25 points of articulation. So there's definitely stuff. I like this caustic figure a lot. Looks like it could be a special trooper. They've got futuristic weapons, but you can swap those out. Um, and then Revenant, which is just a cool looking skeletal goat thing. They're just cool characters, and it might be something to keep an eye on if you're the type of person that likes to mix and match stuff. So just something to bear in mind. There's not a pre-order; they're in stock right now. An individual, and here's the thing that is going to kind of make you go, "What?" Because it made me do that. Individual figures go for $22.99. With all threes for over 70. Someone's not doing the math right. So if you want one, 22 bucks is not bad for as detailed a figure as these are. Might be worth taking the risk, especially at that price point. So cheaper than a Marvel Legends figure, cheaper than an Action Force figure, cheaper than a G.I. Joe Classifieds figure. Just something to look at. And just to prove what I was saying earlier, that Chucky from Mezco is up for pre-order right now. $36 for that really cool looking toy. It's available. It's out there. Go get you some. Also up for pre-order from earlier in the show are these Legends of Dragonor. You can get the whole set right off the bat, and each character from Big Bad anyway is going for $32.99, which is like what? And I realize they have to mark up a little bit. They got to make some money. Um, but I keep coming back to the fact that these characters, I don't know who they are. Um, I haven't seen any sort of like push behind it. I like this cape. It's cool. It's like soft goods with fur, but you're giving me, articulation, on the arms, on just the legs themselves, a twist at the waist and the head. You're charging me $30 for that for a character that I can't find any information on about the lore at this point, despite there being a lot of backing in certain parts of the world for it. I don't understand the justification of the price point personally. If these were on par with Origins articulation, I would give them a second look, but I'm all in on those dragons for sure. Jesse Hughes saying that some previous Apex Legend figures struggle with the articulation, hoping that these are improved. I hope so too. It'd be worth taking a look. Newcastle says there may have been some issues with Mafex, but Mafex comic book Batmans I have none. Many NECA figures, and pretty much all of them have one leg longer than the other. There you go. Good to know. So, lots of cool stuff on the horizon. And the last thing I want to call out before we get into our main discussion is a post that Chasing 80s Toys did, which just wanted to call attention to making sure that you're having your favorite channel supported, having that destination, because the algorithm is pushing shorts these days. And as a result, things are getting buried in the feed. And I've never, ever, ever, ever trusted my notifications on YouTube. I tend to manually look through my subscription feed, go to the channels that I want to, check out the videos, because even with that, I miss things all the time. So I'm glad that he's putting that out there. Certainly, I've seen on Patreon some other bigger channels like Retro Blasting Analog Toys talk about it. Um, so I wanted to throw my hat in the ring and just basically say, hey, this is important. We want to be able to. We thrive on the support of people like yourselves, and at this point, because of the way the algorithm appears to be changing, um, you just need to make it a point to manually go to channels, and I'll use Chasing 80s Toys as the example. I hear about stuff when Scuba Pete tweets it out, and I'll be like, okay, and I click on the link and I put it in my watch later, and I have to go watch it later. And sometimes I forget. I'm old. I do stuff. Um, and there, I know there's channels that I've just subscribed to that I should be getting notifications all the time, and I'm not. Something they're doing is not working right. So thank you for bringing attention to it, Chris. It really does help all of us. So. Yes, my hat says Black Dahlia Murder. I bought this, I ordered it the day that I heard about Trevor's death. Because I don't wear enough Black Dahlia Murder stuff because they're one of my favorite bands and certainly my favorite people. So, um, lots of cool stuff out there. Had to do some searching to find it because PowerCon isn't getting the media blitz attention it once did. I think that they're whatever things they were changing to take it away from being so He-Man specific, um, kind of rubbed Mattel and some fans the wrong way. And although it's great to see all these other lines getting attention, people are just not. There's just not as much coverage. Doing a basic search, it was hard to find pictures from the floor. Hard to see a lot of. There wasn't a lot of video stuff out there either. Um, And yeah, after today's show, Bill will be live streaming, showing some stuff off, from what I understand. So I will post a link in the chat as soon as I have one, and encourage you to go over there to watch his show after ours is over here. So no worries, Jesse. Thanks you're here. Hope work goes well for you. Jim Largo says, "Good point. Monster Island Buddies doesn't show up on my feed. Gotta check subscriptions." Exactly. It's one of those things. Melvor says, grassroots supported and promotion is the way to go. Screw YouTube's algorithm. They'll probably change it a year or two again anyways. Exactly. You need to go out. This is why we have collaboration with other channels and encourage each other's communities to subscribe and to go seek out these channels. It's really something you have to manually seek out. It reminds me of television back in the day. You had to know what was coming. You had to do the research, whether in TV Guide or whatever. and you had to physically turn the channel to what you want, and this is no different. Do not depend upon this website to feed you the stuff that you want, because they're not trying to feed you what you want. They're trying to feed you what they think is going to make them money. So do a little bit of extra effort, and you'll be all taken care of, like Melvor saying here. Giraffe says Thunder Kitties and Karate Turtles have no place at PowerCon. I don't know about that. I have no problem with them changing the vibe of the event. I really don't. But it's clear that it's had an effect where there's just not a lot of coverage. And I'm more like, ugh, I wish there was more coverage of what is there. The subscription tab's the only one he ever scrolls through. I'm the same way. Karen Ball encouraging folks to hit that like button. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. And Ben here is saying that he's subbed and hit the bell for WIFTA, and it's been turned off again by the stream yesterday. Like, that's so weird. Like, you're not getting those notifications. It's very odd. It's very, very odd. And this is part of why I put out the live stream for today early, to give as much time for people to see it as possible. And because we are pretty strict upon when we go live every week, um, it's easier for folks to just go find it. And you guys have been very, very good about that. And I'm seeing that the numbers are going up. And that's a good thing. I'm grateful for it. I really, truly am. And I always want to make sure that you guys know what's coming. So that's what we're going to talk about next. So, first of all, let me show you some stuff that I got. This is my haul from Big Bad and a couple other sources last week. So my Series 1 Action Force came in, and along with some Black Series Star Wars. That Darth Vader is great. I did take him out of the package, and he's beautiful. Put him back in just to keep him safe for now. Got that web store to customize my Hordak, so now I'm just waiting on the right time to get a heat gun and some shrink wrap, and we'll make that stuff happen. Some shrinky dink. And yes, that's yet another Keldor, or Cronus. Pardon me, Cronus. I'm going to dunk him in hot water and make sure that everything's working before I do the customization on anything, which I needed to begin with. So now I already have a web store. I already have them. That's strictly for customization. So it's the whole thing. And there's also in the far corner is another Darth Vader from the Obi-Wan series to match the Black Series one. So I just love the paint deco on these. So that's probably going to be my primary Darth Vader for my displays when I start getting more and more into this 3 3/4 inch scale of Star Wars. But as soon as the more I looked at the Action Force guys, the more I realized I wanted to see them all in one place. So the lighting's not quite as good, but this is every Action Force figure that I own. It's a lot of damn figures, man. It's like 19 figures. It's kind of nuts. With all my weapons packs and the gear packs that I have, it just blows my mind how cool these are, and I'm really looking forward to it for sure. I just want to show these off to you guys, and also tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. No, 7:30 Eastern. So 2.5 hours later than I normally do shows when I'm scheduling them myself. Ken from Toy Connection is going to be here. We're going to talk about Transformers. And because I've been threatening to do this for a while, and I want to have a live conversation about the lines and scale, and just kind of go into like, how do we start? Where does one really start with this stuff? So look forward to that. I will be promoting the ever living heck out of it tonight and tomorrow, and we hope to see you tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Moving forward, so it's going to be a good show. I can't wait to talk to Ken again. I love the guy to death, and I'm looking forward to that very, very much. Rolo says that web stores are one of my favorites from the line. No words about Cronus. Many hate him. I love him. Cronus is cool, and I already have him. But this is for a custom, so you'll see that. Largo says Weapons Pack Alpha still available. Big Bad Painted Shotgun looks better with Carrot. Fair enough. Fair enough. I have one. I already have Alpha. But I could get another one. I guess. Good point. Ba, 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 ba. So I want to catch up a few things here. Ted Miller says YouTube took away the ability to go from oldest to newest videos on a creator's homepage. That's true. You can only go from newest to oldest. It's hard to do. Um, I've got some modifications where I can do that kind of stuff. Roman Cardboard says, I know my favorite subscription channel schedule. Best live stream Monday at 5. Thank you, John. I appreciate that, brother. That's really cool. Really appreciate that. Keith says, my new neighbors are playing loud music at quarter to midnight. Clever move. They didn't know I'm a PTSD, former HM bass player with 6 basses and a Marshall. This isn't ending well for them. I would agree. Give him hell. Give him hell. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. Just his newest and most popular on YouTube. I gotcha. Okay. It's weird. It's very weird. Sent me an email. I'll link to the show. Right on. Cool. Perfect. That's perfect. I will make sure to share that. You're going to sleep. Hey, no worries, man. I appreciate you. So, big hand for Chris. And yes, we're going to be having Bill on the show, or we're going to have him on the show soon. We are also doing that. We're doing the auction again this weekend. I've learned my lessons. As we go over time, I'll probably be pushing that more after tomorrow's show. So, Bill, I need you to email me the actual YouTube link so that I can give it to people to actually show up to the show. That's what I need. Actually, I can probably get it from that. Hang on. I will get that for you. But we are doing the auction. Yes, Rolo, we can certainly do that. You bet. Not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. Nope. Nope. Okay. It's not gonna let me do that. So I need you to email me the actual YouTube link, pal. Because it's not showing up for me, and I'm gonna try to find it on my own. Living on my own. Does it show up? No, I don't think it does. It's big pain in the keister, that's for sure. Yeah, I can't find it. So, as soon as Bill sends that along, we'll get that. We'll be good. So, oh shit, Jim Larco says Grimlock's the best Transformer. Period. And apparently, Giraffe agrees with him. I'm a Soundwave guy myself, but I love the Dinobots, man. I love the Dinobots. Me and Grimlock say Soundwave pussy. Like I could see that happening. But as it stands, guys, PowerCon maybe moving away from Motu was a bad idea because Mattel took their toys literally and went to San Diego Comic-Con and did all their big reveals there rather than going to PowerCon. Like it feels like there's some love lost there. Like they're like, "Hey, screw you guys," and these things happen, and I don't know what it's going to mean moving forward for that convention. And I got to be honest, I don't necessarily like the way PowerCon was doing some things before to begin with, but I did like that there was a destination Motu, um, convention, and the fact that we've lost that bugs me a little bit, guys. It bugs me quite a bit, actually. So I don't know. It's something that I guess we're just going to have to see what happens, and go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and just pin the link to Bill's live stream at the top. So we have that. Don't have to worry about it. And it's all taken care of for you guys. So when we're finished, obviously we want to head over there. Goes on like Stripticon. I'm guessing it's an affinity for Godzilla. That's a thing. But there's cool stuff that came out of PowerCon. I think that that's a mistake that they're moving away from the He-Man thing, and I'm curious to see what we hear from Mattel on the next Mo Tuesday. They really didn't. I haven't seen a lot of stuff that they're putting out there. It just feels like they're still recycling their previous announcements, and I'm not really in a huge um, hurry for that Eternia either. But anything, you guys, at this point, any comments you have about anything we looked at, and things like that. Johnny Sorensen. Next on YouTube, giant robot death lizards and the people who love them. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. We appreciate the likes that we've got on the video, and certainly I love when people shout it out. Do what you can. We appreciate you. Aussie Rules is here. Nice to see you. Um, but yeah, this week, I was thinking about doing an Action Force video. It is going to be the Marvel Selects Roundup for multiple reasons. Um, as I haven't 100% decided on a format for that video. There's a couple of ideas that I had, seeing what's out there, and go from there. Andy Morgan's here, says, just listening and watching. However, would love to support all y'all who help support your husband. Absolutely, of course. Of course. We appreciate that. And obviously, it's all love in all directions. So, and it's always good to see you, Andy. Always good to see you. Giraffe says, wonder how much the original Eternia playsets were going for at PowerCon. Way too much. Way too much. And they're only going to go up in price after this new one gets revealed, because it's going to be that much more of a destination toy kind of a thing at that point. Oh, no worries, man. I'll be watching. I'll be watching. Do not worry, sir. Do not worry. I watch me some Bill Whiff. I'm just gonna be cooking while I watch because I'm hungry. Hungry. Get me some steak, boy. Hey, Ian Sween's here, says, my haul for this week was a Bad Batch Echo at retail price, Bad Batch Omega for £15, and a Jack Pacific 18-inch TIE Fighter pilot complete with gun, a charity shop for £2. Nice. Very, very nice. I like that. I like it. Just looking over to see if there's anything else that I'm missing. If you have not yet seen the Batcave playset review, please check it out in the next couple days. Jim Largo's asking if there's any word on the new Playmate Star Trek figures. No. Other than what's up for pre-order on Big Bad, I haven't seen anything else about that at all. I have seen nothing at all. Just what was there. And Bjorn saying, my only haul was superpower stuff. And that's true. Doing Godzilla's work out there, man. Doing great stuff. And as a matter of fact, let me see if I can find the picture of the end caps that he sent. Those are really cool. Open, yes. All right. We'll go that. Boom. Now, when Bill sent me the pictures that he sent, I thought they were instructions for the display. For a split second, I thought he actually had the damn display, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And no, it wasn't the case at all. But as it is, this is what the end caps, these little islands look like for superpowers, and they are freaking great. I love these, and I really, really want one. You got the Supermobile box there and the Batwing there at the bottom. It's just really cool to see these, existing in the world, and people that I know seeing them. So it's just very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. As you all know, this is my favorite toy line. So to see this on shelves, in stores, and on its way to me, apparently, and thank you to everyone that contributed to that. That's amazing. Um, Bjorn says it best. Walmart has all the cool stuff you people like. You people, exactly. World Mini Corporate says, hey, I heard giant robot death lizards. I'm there. I'm there. That's fair enough, brother. Fair enough. And it's always nice to see the result of these things happening in real time. You guys have really stepped up in finding these toys. And that's one of the things I think our community really excels at, is being helpful to one another and not just behind closed doors. Like, I see you guys in chat going back and forth, like, "Hey, let's find this. We'll make sure you get this and this and that and da da da." I like that part of our community. There's a real sense of family that takes place, and I'm very grateful for it. So I thank you all for making this community what it is, and it means the world to me. So all of that said, um, that's really all that I had to talk about today. Honestly, um, the news, as many things as we had, I zipped through it, and I'm not going to draw this out anymore. I realize that Bill's not probably ready to go live, but please join me in the waiting room over there, and the green, and we'll check out what Bill's got, man, because I can't wait to see it. I know he's excited, and I'm excited too. So check out that pinned comment. Go right to Bill's stream after this. I love all of you very much. We'll see you tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for a great Transformers talk with Ken from Toy Connections. And until then, may all your grinds be merry, may your card backs be straight, and may you be able to find anything you're looking for at any given time at a price you feel is reasonable. Take care, guys. We will see you very soon over at Bill's channel. Bye.